Welcome back to the State of the Nation 2026. Joining me now, I'd like to welcome the Economic Freedom Fighters Member of Parliament and Treasurer General, Omphile Maotwe. TG, absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to the viewers.
No, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on. TG, expectations, of course, from an opposition perspective with regards to President Cyril Ramaphosa's speech. I know, obviously, from an opposition side, criticism, sort of reflection from that perspective. What are you expecting from the year 2026?
We don't want rhetoric for us. We're tired. Mr. Ramaphosa has been a president since 2019. And when he came in 2019, he said we must Tomamina story, and he promised the nation that he's going to build a bullet train from Johannesburg to Durban. 7 years later, we're still waiting for that. The following year, he came and he spoke about smart city. 6 years later, we're still waiting. Then there was a Tinsolo with an ice cream story. So the stories just changes every year. You can't be a president that just keeps making promises and none of that materializes. A self-respecting president would actually say, last year I promised 1, 2, 3. This is how far we've achieved, because this is a long-term project. It's a 5 or 10-year project. But this is 20% of what we have done so far. In addition to that, we're going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. President Ramaphosa is not doing that. He takes the mic as if it's the first time he's ever been on that podium as a president. So that's wrong. I mean, even when you appoint a CEO or even a GM at your organization or your company, you've got a 100-day plan, which you keep reflecting on all the time until you achieve what you want to achieve. If you haven't achieved, you give reasons why you haven't achieved. So we can't have a president who really just comes and every opportunity of SONA is a new story altogether. We're going to hear now another new story. But what is more painful for us is that we've seen under his leadership, corruption levels have skyrocketed. This is a man who came in 2019 and said he's a corruption buster. He's not going to be harboring corruption around in his government. He wants a clean governance. But that's a president who is told by Madlanga Commission that there are issues with Mkunu, and so this one and this one, this one. And he says, he isolates Mkunu. He says, okay, we're going to have to establish another investigative commission to look at these 3 names you are giving me. But Mkunu is my political headache. What does it mean? To this day, Mkunu is still earning the salary of South Africans. He still have all his full pack as a minister of police. The person who everybody is speaking about as being corrupt. Even himself, Mkunu, why is he not doing the honorable thing and saying, let me sit at home and allow my country to run without me being still at the helm?
TG, there's something interesting you mentioned there, because I know the EFF have been very critical on the sort of compromise that Ramaphosa is, because given who Senzo Mkunu is within, obviously, the so-called CR7 slate, is that where the issue lies? That it's very difficult for President Ramaphosa to tell Senzo Mkunu, you officially fired in your capacity as Minister of Police.
If you are a leader that cannot stick for the truth, then you are a fake. So if I've got a friend who is doing wrong things, I ought to be able to say, my friend, we can, at a personal level, we can remain friends. But there's an issue here that you are alleged to have done so and so and so. Excuse yourself. Live in a most dignified manner without being pushed, and go and answer for your sins. Once you've answered for your sins, then you can come back. We've seen a lot of leaders do that, saying, let's not put pressure on the president. Yes, he played a critical role in Ramaphosa ascending to presidency in 2017. But to what extent? To the extent that you can spit on our faces, you can pee on the constitution of the country just because you were made to be what you are by Cyril Ramaphosa. That's wrong. So it means Mr. Ramaphosa himself is fake. He's not honest. If he can't tell his close comrades to say, but I don't agree, especially it's him who said he doesn't tolerate corruption. You've seen how he came into power. Some of the ANC members, I mean, I'm not speaking for the ANC, but I'm just saying that's a person who must reflect on who he is, because he came and said he's going to bust corruption and people are going to step aside. He's the one who came with those things. Why is he not doing the same thing to his closest friend? It means he's not honest. He's not an honest man. And that's a man that we are entrusting with our lives. Because being the president of the country, it means 60 million people in this country are entrusting you with their lives. And that's why we should not be surprised when the unemployment has grown so high, when inequality has deepened, when poverty levels have skyrocketed. Is because we've got a fake of a president who can't be honest with his own comrades. So you can't expect anything from SONA, honestly, because there's nothing that he's going to put on the table. He hasn't done that for the past 7 years. He said in his 2 personas, I am now establishing Operation Vulindlela strategy to unlock business for private sector. What does the Operation Vulindlela exactly do? It's privatizing the SOEs. So he goes to Transnet and say to Transnet, okay, with your current rolling stock, the wagons and the locomotives and your rail network, I'm bringing private sector to come and operate with you in your own network, with your own assets. So why would you want private sector when Transnet used to move over 200 million tons of cargo a year with the same rolling stock, with the same rail network? What exactly is the private sector giving? More so that you know that private sector's mandate is not to create jobs. It is to profit at all costs. So private sector will come and milk the state, sweat the assets to take out the profit from it. But what do they bring? Nothing. No skill, no capital, nothing, no equipment, no nothing. But they must now come and run your own business.
DG, I have to stop you. I only get 3 important questions here. There's so much to speak about. Madlanga Commission, Paul O'Sullivan, I know your leader, the Commander-in-Chief, Julius Malema, has been very critical of Paul O'Sullivan and what has been happening. I watched yesterday's proceedings. Has the EFF been convinced by the testimony of Paul O'Sullivan within this Madlanga Commission right now? And of course, especially what we saw in the ad hoc commission investigating police corruption.
No, Paul O'Sullivan thinks that he's untouchable. He still feels he's so important. I mean, he is being asked, you are saying you are the head of aviation security at AXA. That advert required a certain type of qualification, which we suspect that you don't have. A self-respecting person will say, but that's my qualification. There it is. What are you talking about? It's clear he doesn't have qualifications. And yet he was earning money for all these years. Because of what? The color of his skin. So that's white supremacy. That's why he's even confident to answer and say, it's none of your business. How do you say that on oath, that it's none of your business? Are you not here to come and assist the committee, but also to clear your name on some of the allegations that have been leveled against you? You are being accused of having influenced the police and the security sector in a way. Is it not in your interest as an old man to say, I want to retire with dignity and honor and leave this country? He claims that he was doing what he was doing because he loves this country. Don't you love the country enough to say to the country, I've actually done so much for you and I was qualified to do what I was doing? Why would you be arrogant in your responses? And then I can tell you now, Faraz was sitting here, Sullivan is not coming back. He says he was falling sick, he's going to come back. I'll give you 1,000 rand if he comes back. It was a scapegoat for him to go away. But he must know that all the allegations that have been leveled against him, we are going to assume that they are true because he has not cleared them. He has not done anything. Instead, he was coming up with different angles of saying, I'm actually the best person, I'm what. He received money from the slush fund. He refused to prove that it is not the money from slush fund. That's why he can acquire so many properties. I mean, how do you go to a military training and the following year you are able to buy so many properties? Where do you get the money from? So he's saying to us what people are saying, that he could have been, or he is perhaps an agent of some sort. We're left with nothing on the table to prove otherwise. So we're going to have to believe those people what they're saying.
DG, 2 questions. We've got 2 minutes. The EFF slogan for this year's elections, victory or death, does that mean the EFF is looking to move away from being a coalition partner to being an out ruling party for the metros and municipalities?
So we're looking to get as much votes as possible. Unfortunately for us, we've learned that, and from other countries in the world, once you enter into coalition politics, you're going to stay with it for a very long time. We went to Denmark in 2022 or 2021, somewhere there. They told us that they've been in coalition government for over 45 years. So we are not to get out of it. So ours is to be the kingmakers, to have so much votes that we are the number one. You know what the ANC did? They lost votes, but you will actually believe that they won. The way they've bullied everybody. Why? Because they got the highest votes. So we lost the votes in 2024. That's a fact. We can't afford to lose any more votes now. So we need to work so hard that you can't do anything without us. And we will not get votes of the people and not do anything. We will not be like MK, what they did in KZN, allowing the ANC and the DA to come and take their plate on the table. Because in all fairness, MK did very well in KZN. They were the majority. They got the majority or the highest votes in KZN. But what does that do to our people? They left the dinner table. They left it to the DA and the ANC. We want to have so much votes, so much that obviously, one, they can't steal our votes. They've been stealing our votes. That's a fact. I mean, we even, in some instances, prove it to the IEC and they're able to correct it. So we've strengthened our machinery such that each and every voting station we're able to see. Before IEC tells us how many votes we got, we will be able to see ourselves. So our message is to say, if we do not do well, we are doomed. So us as the EFF, we are not the dying type. We must work so hard that we give victory back to our people because death is not an option.
DG, one question. I've got 1 minute. It was the EFF that brought the motion to have the Israeli embassy closed permanently. The Charge d'Affaires has been sent. Currently, the bill is sitting. It's not become an act to go ahead and have that embassy closed down. The genocide in Gaza continues because that ceasefire is not happening. What is the plan now for the EFF to have that motion that was brought by the party you represent to become an act?
Actually, the parliament took a decision. We voted in parliament for president to close the Israel embassy. So you don't even need anything beyond that. There is a resolution of parliament that the president must close that embassy. So you can see with the way President Ramaphosa is going about this is to undermine the legislature. And it's up to us as members of parliament through the speaker, if we had a self-respecting speaker, to stamp her authority because she is leading the legislative arm of the state in the country. She should say to the executive, the legislature has taken the decision, go and implement this thing. If you're not implementing it, then you have to be charged, or there has to be a process that is undertaken to make sure that Mr. Ramaphosa does what is right. Because we can't have the executive doing as it pleases. We've got, unfortunately, we are the three arms of the state. We've got the judiciary, the executive, and the legislature. Now, all of us were equal. But we can't then have an executive that behaves as if they are our principal. They are not our principal. They are an equal player of forming the state in this country. And therefore, when one arm is saying a resolution of members of parliament who've been publicly elected to be here by all South Africans is that you must go and close that embassy, he has got no option but to do it. The same way when the court judges issues a judgment and say, this is the order of court, this is what must happen, it must happen. If it doesn't happen, there must be a recourse for that. So there's a judgment by parliament that says, Mr. Ramaphosa, the parliament order is that go and close that embassy. He has got no option but to close it. If he's got a problem, then he must take it through the judiciary process to challenge that decision that is taken by the parliament. He's not doing anything. He's not reviewing that. He's not when I say reviewing, he's not taking it on review because he can't review it as an individual. It has to follow. He should say to court, assist me here. I don't agree with this resolution, like we do ourselves. When parliament goes and we don't agree with the resolution, we take it to court to say, please come and mediate here. There's a misunderstanding. Come and clarify. And the court has done that. So Mr. Ramaphosa must be held accountable for not adhering to the parliament order that has been taken to close the Israel embassy.
DG, unfortunately, the time is up. Absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for us.
That's the EFF's Treasurer General and Member of Parliament, Omphile Maotwe. Stay tuned to the State of the Nation address. We'll have more for you after this.